Welcome to yet another dimension. I'm here with Andrew, and we just watched.
The Lord of the Rings: Return of the King theatrical cut.
Half of my day watching this because it's 3.5 hours.
It's a long movie. I told you it was gonna be long.
Why? Why is it gotta be so long?
I don't know if it needs to be as long as it is. Maybe we can talk about. Do you think that the length of these movies is justified? Gut reaction. We just finished watching this movie like 5 minutes before we set up the camera and everything.
See, I can't even tell you because I remember the battles, some of the character moments, but it's just no because what? Okay, so it's all this setup, right? And then at the end, I don't really care about most of these characters.
You're so focused on character. That's a big thing for you. So I know that this movie perhaps could have let you down because I will give you this. A lot of the characters in this kind of fit a stereotype. Like Aragorn's kind of that badass king stereotype.
I know, but he doesn't have a personality though.
I can say, after watching
you
it
could
again,
be a stereotype.
there's not a lot.
I'm being negative. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
We'll start with the character.
It's a fair criticism.
Okay.
If you say watching it
I
again,
actually really enjoyed it. This is my favorite one so far.
Yeah, it was easily the best movie in the trilogy for sure.
It won the Oscar for Best Picture that year.
Yeah.
I think it's deserving because it was a great conclusion to the story.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for getting negative at the start. I'm just tired.
Dude, I don't care.
It's a long movie. I'm not used to 3.5
I'm not
hours.
personally offended like everybody's gonna be commenting on it.
Oh yeah, people have come to me and be like,
I'm sure you're gonna get murdered in the street tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully.
You live a rough life.
This is my plan.
Yeah.
Give hot takes. Somebody kills me on the street.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But
anyways, it's called characters. So you're saying they fit the stereotype.
I think that that's a fair criticism that there's not too much depth. Aragorn is your stereotypical fantasy hero. I think in a lot of ways. He rejects the power, doesn't want the power, but accepts it reluctantly.
I don't remember. I don't notice him doing really anything. He just goes out there and just whoops ass like that guy over there. That's a joke.
So we watched this movie. We realized that in the last scene when Frodo
Spoilers.
is back from Mount Doom or whatever, and he's got that dream heaven sequence where he's back in Rivendell, and all those characters from the Fellowship come in. He names everybody except
he's like,
this guy.
Your name.
This guy.
Yeah, I remember you. You were
We were cracking up for
That was the funniest moment. That was my favorite moment.
Minutes.
That's easily the better than anything. That's this has been leading up to that moment.
That was it.
Where
that was a climax for you, huh?
It was.
Yeah.
It made it worth it.
Yeah,
Frodo is king. He should be the king. Anyways, so the stereo. I'm not. It's not even. I don't care about stereotypes as long as the characters are more memorable. I guess.
I will give you this. Watching it back, I definitely think there was not too many moments where we saw character banter.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot. There's a little bit between Legolas and Gimli, but it's mostly pretty
they're
on the nose. Oh, we don't like dwarves. I don't like elves. It's kind of the same thing in this one.
That was barely in it.
Oh, what's in it? It's in all their dialogue. It's their entire.
I don't feel it. I like the they continued on with they're counting their kills.
Yeah, they're counting the kills.
I like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, Legos, that guy over there, he's devoid of character.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He tells it. He's like he has a feeling like Matthew McConaughey and True Detective. He's kind of he has a feeling. The Sixth Sense.
I wonder how much of because we watched the theatrical cuts. I wonder how much more of the extended versions explain certain things.
I'm actually kind of
curious,
interested. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I can watch it all at once again.
Because before you watch it,
there's a lot going on. They introduce a lot of terms and cities and cultures.
Yeah, it's kind of like Game of Thrones in that way.
Yeah, and
which makes sense.
And it's easier with Game of Thrones because I love Game of Thrones. Well, I did until the very end.
Yeah.
Okay, they a little bit of history with the Game of Thrones. I'm not a medieval fantasy guy.
Yeah.
And you told me a long time ago to watch Game of Thrones. I watched the first episode. I'm like, this is kind of boring. But I rewatched it. Like everybody's watching it, and I absolutely loved it after that.
Yeah.
And I guess like it's a setup. You got to set up the characters, and I guess the characters are more memorable in that. And you like you said, it's more grounded.
I wonder if a lot more time was spent like focusing on characters in that show, and that was an 8-season show, whereas this was 3 movies,
Yeah,
so
they have to pack in a lot of.
Right. Yeah.
It just makes me confused. Like, should I pay attention to that? You're saying like, oh, just whatever. It's
Well, in order to like finish the movie, you don't need to know like all that stuff. Like, you can watch these movies and like just kind of take like
I like
a lot of it for granted.
I love lore when it's like done right. So I feel like, oh, should I be paying attention to that?
Maybe I don't know if it's like all in the movie. That's the thing. Like, I remember watching it back now. Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I still don't know how it happened. Like, I've seen these movies.
Yeah, I was asking you a question. I
was just like, well, I don't know. I've always just watched the spectacle.
It is a spectacle, though.
Yeah, but I'm sure if I was more like if I actually sat down and really read the book, I read chapter 1. And I didn't really care for Tolkien's writing style, but I thought about getting back into it again, just because I feel like I should. I feel like as somebody who likes fantasy, it's like the quintessential fantasy novel. It's like
isn't everything basically based on it?
Yeah,
it has elements.
Martin's inspired by Tolkien. Like everything you think of like that you watch nowadays, it's fantasy came from like Lord of the Rings inspiration. So. I think I owe it to myself to read it. I probably would understand what's happening in the movies a lot more if I did. But I always just kind of took it for granted and just kind of sat back and watched the spectacle more than I did try to understand, the logic of the magic, if there was.
I guess I'm just looking too deep into it.
I think you are.
I'm not even, I don't even care. I don't need all that all the time. Like, I'm more so like everything has to make sense, or like, oh, did that make sense? Did they like set that up? It's fine as long as it's done well. And I think, like you're saying, the spectacle is done really well because the fight scene, the battle, well, I wasn't ready for that. That was epic. That was one of the most epic, like best battles I've ever seen in a film. And it was leading up to it very long, and it was a huge payoff because there's so much going on. Like, they start off. One of my favorite parts in the movie was like the orcs are throwing the severed heads.
Catapult severed,
the catapult severed heads to them. That's terrifying. I've never seen something like that. I was kind of
forgot that was even.
It was dark for it. That was the darkest thing I've seen in the Lord of the Rings. I was surprised. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was more. I guess I don't want to say mature, but just dark.
It was. No, it was like that. That's a mature element in the story. It's more lighthearted on the whole, I'd say. Than most.
The ending's definitely lighthearted.
Yeah. It's a lot of it. Yeah, it's like your typical like fantasy. Like there's a happy ending and that sort of thing. And
I'm just used to more dark because I don't have a lot of experience watching medieval stuff, like fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
So like Dark Souls is super like dark in the name. Is only death and darkness in that. Berserk and like Game of Thrones is like the 3 main things. And then there's like some other animes. It's just like, but they mostly go gears toward like dark stuff.
I think a lot of that has to do with the shift in media too. Mm-hmm. Like, movies, and this is a blockbuster movie, so most of the time those have like a relatively happy ending. It's
mass audience.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that a sad ending. Like, I guess Game of Thrones didn't even have a bad ending. I guess. Like sad.
I don't even know. I felt empty. Game of Thrones.
That's a bad writing. That's not.
It was horrible. But I think on the whole, like at the time, like most movies were like that. Like those event movies, those blockbuster movies had relatively happy endings. I mean, like Harry Potter, they kind of wavered. Sometimes the endings were really dark.
Like, I haven't seen all of it. I need to watch that.
Yeah, like the Goblet of Fire is a super dark ending. Like, and a lot of them actually have pretty dark endings. But
nobody really dies in this. That's that important.
In Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody that died. I just think of just one person that died was kind of important.
The king.
Yeah.
Of Rohan.
But you know he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like you got that feeling.
Yeah. Now watching it again, there is kind of low stakes, I guess, because
But that's fine. They're not really. They're not attempting to be like Game of Thrones or something more mature. It's a fairy tale.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's like a high level fairy tale. It's like a fairy tale with scope. I think is the way you should think of it. Kind of. At least that's the way. That's the vibe I get watching this movie. I don't know if it's because I I've been watching more like deeper stuff, like Game of Thrones and like that book series is like it's grounded, like it's really. I mean, Lord of the Rings is rich too in its lore, and there's a whole bunch of lore. Like,
oh yeah,
and he wrote books that aren't even like before. They're like before the Hobbit, man. They're like way like haven't been adapted to movies or anything. Like the Silmarillion. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
I don't know.
It's like a prequel about Sauron, I think.
See, I'll be interested in see his origins.
Yeah,
because is he a man or is he a?
I don't really even know. I don't
demon
know.
Or
I honestly should look into it because I don't know. I'm sure somebody who's more invested in this series knows.
I would be interested to talk to somebody like that.
Yeah.
That knows.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, like I remember just watching these movies as a kid, and I was just like the spectacle and the visuals, and for me that was enough, you know. And as an adult who's seen, you know, I want to say deeper stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I did feel like there's a lot that's missing to these movies in terms of like, you know, the richness of it, like the nuance. You know, a lot of it is more about spectacle. I wonder if that's okay. If you watch it and you just kind of experience it and feel it, if that's better. I mean, there's some good, I guess, lessons in there, you know, moralities and for like you know, the burden of having the ring and like you know,
we could talk
it's a
about
sacrifice that's made by Frodo, you could argue, to destroy it, and the temptation that's there. You know, there's some good stuff.
There's a lot going on though. It's not really a focus on that. I mean, there is a focus, but like the core of the story that I really enjoy is the dynamics between Frodo, Sam, and Gollum.
Yeah, that's
my favorite
series,
part.
I think.
Yeah, because Sam, he's the man. Sam is logical.
That's what we realized watching these
He's
movies.
the hero.
Sam is literally the hero of the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes,
like, 100%. It's not Aragorn. It's not Frodo at all. Frodo is. We're realizing he's weak as fuck.
Yeah. See what did he do except for get stabbed, passed out, almost eaten by a spider? What did he do?
Yeah,
and look, he almost basically he was corrupted at the end.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Gollum, Gollum saved the world, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
With his obsession, in a way, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that scene where he's falling and he grabs,
it's awesome.
And he's like holding it up. Yeah, that was great, man. That was like, man, I think him, Sam, and Gandalf, they make the movies for me.
Yeah, Gandalf is just kind of a badass.
Yeah.
I like that you don't know a lot about Gandalf.
Yeah,
like
he's mysterious.
That's what's kind of cool. Like that's fine. I think like, but there's enough. Like Ian McKellen's such a good actor that like there's character there, even if you don't know his whole backstory or whatever. Like
he's made for that part.
Yeah. Oh, he's totally like, and he owns it.
I like how he just took control because he was waiting for the steward. I forgot his name.
Yeah. The guy's played by John Noble. Denethor, I think.
Yeah.
The steward of Gondor, who's like Boromir's father. Who's total dickhole.
Trying to kill his still breathing son.
Yeah.
But I like how he took control of that, and you know he's cool. Glad he was still alive. He survived to the end. That's somebody I'm glad. And then Sam, he's like I said, he's badass.
Sam is the man.
Great.
That's what I really realized. Like, I watched these movies so many times, I never even thought of that.
Really?
But, like, well, I mean, I always thought he
so
was
apparent,
one of the heroes, but like when you watch it,
hero.
yeah, he is.
Man, it made me so mad when Aragorn is like to look into the thousands of 10,000 at least 10,000 of his troops. It's like for Frodo, what? Yeah. Sam is out there carrying the plot along.
He literally carries.
He's carrying the plot, which is Frodo and his ring.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
He carries the plot.
And then he's like, you bow to no one, referring to the 4 hobbits. So all 4 of them get shared credit.
Yeah.
And then they zoom in on Frodo. This motherfucker.
Thank you. I'm glad that you agree.
He never gets the credit he deserves. Sam literally carries that fucking movie.
I feel like everybody probably agrees with that. I don't want to see somebody that defends Frodo. I don't get it. Like, okay, I guess he does have a huge burden because it corrupts. Okay, I like how, because like in the beginning, like the first 2 movies, they don't really show the power of the ring, how they corrupts people. I guess instead of the first.
They show Isildur, like the first guy.
Yeah, but like I like how they showed the transformation of Gollum. Smeagol. Yeah, like he changed quickly. He just turned on his best. I guess it was his best friend.
Yeah.
Just killed him right there, and like you were saying, like he was starting to transform. I love transformations in movies.
Yeah.
He started transforming,
Oh, the
and they should
makeup
just
was great.
yeah, they should just use this makeup.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
No, I agree. I mean, like, you know, I remember watching these movies back. I still think Gollum and the mocap holds up
great.
fairly well.
Yeah, I got used to it.
Yeah, but you know, watching it again, especially that last scene where like he's becoming Gollum, like the CGI eyes appeared on him. I feel like before that he looked great.
Yeah,
like he looked horrifying.
You know, I feel like it could have been like that at first. I guess it's been like years. Never mind, that's the beginning. Like I wish I could have seen him more like that, and then gradually changed the way he became.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been cool. I just like practical.
I like practical too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Is like I realized watching this back that they probably should have just stuck with the practical. Because I mean, I wonder if maybe the makeup was hard to do, but in the movie where like you got all these.
Yeah. And I'm like
trying to think of. I don't know. I want to look into the reason why they chose to go mocap with Gollum when they got him to look so scary in that like prequel scene.
Well, just think of the time where it's probably a showcase of what they could do.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's around the time of Star Wars, the prequels.
Yeah.
They used nothing but green screens, blue screens.
And the other thing,
talking to a visible person.
Yeah. The other thing I could think of is that he gets so thin and bone thin that in order to like do the motion with him,
that is
probably would have had CGI.
Yeah, the motion is really good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of him moving around, so I wonder if that was a big part of it too. But I don't know. I want to look into the reason for that because I really think he looked awesome. Like in that last shot before he turns, like the CGI eyes, like. If they would have stuck with that, and he looked like that the whole movie, man, that would be sweet.
No matter what, is Andy Serkis say he deserved the Oscar for that.
Yeah,
I mean, or something. He did great. Cause
amazing.
I would love to see like the behind the scenes of him actually acting, because he played that role so well. The part where I love the parts where he's talking between Smeagol and Gollum, because he's looking into the water. Gollum, he's like more calm, controlled, like more sinister, like he's not really reacting too much. But Smeagol, he's like kind of like nervous, and I love that. That was great. And then he's like he throws a rock in the water, and Sam like appears after. Like that was great cinematography. Like there, and also we got to talk about like it's even better in this the set decoration, the costumes, the landscapes. It's crazy. Okay, now I'm feeling it, like wow. That is insane.
It's blown. Like I feel like there's nothing that's come out since that's really matched it in terms of production quality, like production design.
I'm trying to think. Like I guess in terms of fantasy, I'm trying to think like maybe other genres. But this, but three movies.
Like I'm trying to think of other movies that to me have like met on that scope. Like I don't even think like the like Marvel movies are even come close. Like
that's mostly computer.
Yeah, that's the other big problem too. Is that they lean too much on CGI. I just wish they would refer. I guess because this movie was expensive, and they make so many genre movies now that they don't want to always put the money towards practical effects. But I don't know, man. Like these Marvel movies make so much money, they could do it. You know?
Yeah.
Or these other franchise movies, like whatever, I don't know, anything.
But do you know what all the money goes into? Marketing and the actors.
Yeah, actors.
Big name actors. They're like that's most of the budget.
Yeah, that's a big problem. They get paid way too much.
Oh man, actors. That could be another discussion for another day.
Yeah, I wonder. That's another thing too. Man. This movie had a lot of actors that didn't really. They weren't in a lot of stuff before, and they weren't in a lot after. Like
Strangers just fell off.
Sean Astin was in Rudy.
Yeah.
And
51st Dates, he's in it. That's the only thing I think of.
Remember, he's in Stranger Things, and that's like
he is.
Yeah, he was in Stranger Things like season 3 or 2. But he like that was like his comeback.
But this is like one of the biggest movie franchises of all time.
Yeah, exactly. But everybody else, right? Like Viggo Mortensen, who plays Aragorn, like where did he go? I don't know if he's been in any movie since. I think he was in that Green Book movie. Whatever. Pretty unknown now.
I guess he's in a couple stuff. They're not like they didn't become big stars after.
Yeah, no, they never became like A-list actors.
That's
Ian
one
McKellen's it. Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like anybody could have played the role then?
Of like Aragorn?
Or like even Frodo, man. Like Frodo would just look scared through I don't know, man. Frodo.
I think Elijah Wood is way too pretty to be replaced.
They could have found another pretty boy, man.
No, those deep blue eyes. He was perfect virgin innocence for that role. He was.
Oh, that's the only That's the only guy like that, huh? It's the only guy like that.
Probably.
Okay, all right.
Probably.
Frodo should die. He's the villain of the show, the movie. He's the villain of the series.
I don't know if I can go that far, but I definitely think Sam is the hero.
He fought a spider and won.
Sam is the badass. I agree. Sam is literally the hero of this fucking entire trilogy, and like no one's ever.
I want a Frodo figure. Oh, that was terrible. I don't. But what else? Is, I mean, does any other character like? Okay, so the romance stuff with
Arwen and Aragorn. It's pretty weak watching it back.
I wish that was cut out. Like I didn't need it at all. I mean, I don't care.
I feel like, and I mean, maybe this is a product of the time, but I feel like this would have worked better as like a whole series.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
like
a 3-season miniseries, maybe.
Yeah, it just works better that way. Yeah, because like you said, you
flesh out the characters, you flesh out like this romance that we're supposed to believe, and I mean they spent a lot of time on it, but I don't know if it really is super believable. You're right. Like I feel like it's just fantasy love. Like it's that kind of Romeo and Juliet love that's just sort of young necessary. And, yeah. I don't know.
It'd just be cooler if like he met her on the like the girl he was already talking to on the battlefield.
Yeah, they probably.
Yeah, I think that would have been better.
More justifiable romance for sure.
I don't know. It was just already a long movie. It just doesn't need it.
It didn't really add much. It didn't add much. I definitely agree. But yeah, I wonder if like this came out. I mean, they are developing a Lord of the Rings TV show for Amazon, but I think it's like prequel. It's not like the series that we saw remade. But I wonder if like it had come out now, But then I guess I also wonder like if that hadn't come out, would Game of Thrones have been?
Exactly.
It's like a chicken by the egg thing. I'm saying like with now like how popular fantasy is, like I could see them turning a series like that into like a mini series. And they would probably have to adapt it a lot and flesh out arcs a little bit more, to fit a show format. But I feel like it could be done.
I think it
maybe even would be done.
I think it's better suited for a TV series.
Yeah.
And I think I would like it better if it was animated.
Oh, do you know there's animated Lord of the Rings from 1970s?
1970s.
They're pretty bad, actually.
1970s. They should make an animated version of this.
It would be cool.
I see.
They should make another animated version of it. There is an animated series of it. They did the 3 movies.
Anything before the 80s doesn't exist.
It's pretty bad.
Or in terms of animation. I'm just joking.
There's some good animated
Don't believe me. I'm just joking.
There are some impressive feats. Like even Snow White, I'd say is impressive.
I'm
look, man.
Joking.
Look, man. Look, man.
Don't say man. Please
look, Chief.
Don't say don't. That guy. That's
that guy.
Yeah, you were that guy at that one place.
You were the fellowship.
Nobody knows what we're talking about. Okay. But wait, okay. So animated. See, I like stuff like this, more fantastical, whimsical, fantasy stuff like this. I like it more when it's animated. I don't know why, it just fits more for me.
I could tell you one reason I think you might have a valid point, and it's because the thing we keep talking about with like practical effects and CGI, right? Like we watch this movie, we see the power of practical effects, like firsthand. You can see it all.
It works, man. Just look at the
orcs. It works great. Like I feel like you might like animation more because everything's already animated, right? So it keeps that like unrealistic feel for everything, including the human characters. Whereas like this, we see humans in front of a green screen. Yeah, it bothers us. Like we know that there's something wrong.
That's why I like it. It's mostly like the big battle. It's already mostly CG.
Yeah,
so it might as well be animated, and stuff you can't do in real life. You can do in animation. Yeah, and for this, I just think it's. But I do but they do show that in real life you can do certain things, like the orcs, how disgusting they look.
Great, yeah.
They look so, like, if you put time and effort into it, it can, like, match animation to me.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of work, and I know that's not practical.
I think, did we talk about it on the podcast or just in person? I can't remember if we talked about, like what I think the reason for that is, like, animation being mostly a kid's medium or a young medium.
Did we talk about not really. You want to talk about it?
But yeah, so like I think the reason that like movies like this wouldn't get that animation treatment most of the time is because they want to have that PG-13 rating, right? So this movie is trying to appeal to adults and kids at the same time. Not that adults don't like animation, which apparently movie studios haven't learned yet. But like
they haven't.
They always lean more towards that PG-13 rating with a live action movie because they can get the adults and the kids to come, right? If it's something like a Marvel movie or a genre movie like this, you know. So
this is a big risk.
It was a huge risk.
Yeah, because they spent so much money on it.
Yeah,
you could tell there's a lot of time put into it.
Yeah,
so they're gonna do what makes the most money.
It could have been a flop. It really could have been a flop. Yeah. And I feel like
there was anything before this?
I mean, I'm trying to think of movies that were. You mean like a epic fantasy movie like this?
Yeah.
Not that I can think of. I mean, there was some like
attempts
at like smaller scope, like fantasy movies like Princess Bride's like a comedy, right? But
yeah, it's kind of like something serious. Like serious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
At something even close to this.
Kind of like the Dark Crystal. You ever heard of the Dark Crystal?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's kind of like that with puppets back in the 80s. That was sort of like also like high fantasy, but never again, not on this scale. Like nothing on that scale where there's this, lore and stuff behind it and there's all these characters and it's long and in live action. Like the Dark Crystal was technically live action, but it was all puppets, so it wasn't like it's just also great. You should watch it for just the practical effects because I think it all looks fake.
I love puppets.
But it looks awesome.
They're creepy though.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like it really works. I think in that movie really well. But just overall, like, yeah, I can't think of a movie that really matched it. It was kind of unprecedented in a lot of ways. It was a risk because of that, because there wasn't really anything before it they could model it after. I could think of like I'm trying to think of old movies that even come close to like the scope of what it took to make this movie. It's insane.
Yeah, it's I would say it's a masterpiece for that, how the scope and like the execution. Yeah. My friend said like it's one of the best executed trilogies ever, and I gotta admit to it that they stuck it out, and I mean, I understood it, and like it's a nice built up from the first movie to the end. Like do like drawbacks from beginning to the end and foreshadowing, and I mean I didn't love the characters, I didn't grow attached to them. Some of them I did, but. Like the battles were escalated greatly, like from the first one, second one, third one. It felt grand, like super grand at the end. I'm like, wow, yeah. It's a lot to take in, and it never got boring. Like then, like the second, all right, the first half of the movie, it's like, all right, I can take it or leave it, but like the second half of the movie was great.
You mean Return of the King?
Yeah, Return of the King. Yeah, I'm talking about Return of the King.
Yeah, the first half kind of sets up the second half in a lot of ways.
I didn't see like if I rewatched it. I feel like I can just skip some things. Sorry, like some parts. I feel like I can. I guess I'll be missing some. Like I would be missing some like
you were
the
asking
design.
for comment hate. Man.
I feel like this so much. It's 9 hours, 9.5 hours.
Yeah.
I don't really watch rewatch movies or TV shows like that. Yeah. I feel like it's a time sink. Like I want to rewatch Breaking Bad, but I can only do it like maybe once every couple of years.
Yeah, you gotta space it out.
Yeah.
I think same with these movies. Like, I mean, I haven't watched them since I don't know, probably high school. For me, it's been probably like something like almost 10 years. Yeah. If not more.
I feel like with Breaking Bad, like you have to watch every episode. It's so important. But for this, like I'm here for like you said, the spectacle of it.
Yeah.
And like I care about the look of it, the art direction.
I think that's really
the battles.
The draw. Yeah, I mean, not that the story is bad. I just feel like
I'm not saying the story is bad.
I think it's simple. I think it's fairly simple, and it's more
to the point. Yeah,
it's more like a fairy tale. I really think of this movie as like a fairy tale with a lot of scope. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think that's fine.
That's what. Look, how I judge things is like, what are they going for? Obviously, they're going for a simple fairy tale movie with great action, and art design, costume design. And they did it. They accomplished it.
Yeah.
They executed in 3 different movies, and the quality of it just continued to rise.
Yeah. That's something you can't really say that it got worse or it didn't pay off. I feel like it definitely 100%. It met the expectation in that third movie for sure. Yeah.
So you got anything else to say about it?
Trilogy? I just really enjoyed watching it again. I don't feel like I've enjoyed it any less anytime I watched it. It's a long thing to
Yeah, but
knock
she
it all
enjoyed it,
out.
though.
But I think if you space it out with a little bit of time in between each movie, like even a day or two, like we watched the Two Towers on Saturday. Now it's a different day,
Yeah.
which we upload the same day every time. But if you space it out a little bit, I feel like it's digestible.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And just watching it again, it just like there's things that I look for in movies now, like after going to college and doing like screen studies in college, like stuff I didn't even really look for when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Because I wasn't thinking about it. I was more just watching it like, oh, there's dragons and shit. Like I didn't care about like like the sound design or whatever. Which also like they use Wilhelm scream like what
4 times at least.
they use
once
it a lot.
Once a movie.
Yeah, at least once per movie. We picked it out each time.
That was great.
Yeah, but yeah, just the sound and the overall scope, like you said, the sets. And we looked up like some of them. Some of them like Minas Tirith was, I guess, a set that was created. So that's even more impressive. I mean, like a lot of it's probably still CG'd, like the cliffside and everything. But even just the set that they're walking
looks
through
impressive.
Looks awesome.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest critic of CG, but that was some fantastic CG.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is that like the CG? Like I think we said this in the last couple of videos, so I won't spend too much time on it. But the CG in these movies matches like the quality of CG mostly in today.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think Thanos and the Avengers was probably the last really good mocap I've seen. Like for the most part, mocap is not great. So I feel like
20 years. What you guys doing?
Yeah, it's crazy how much it still stands with like today's CGI in movies that I see with big. I didn't love Avatar, obviously. So
we gotta do a review on that.
What's why I don't really even want to watch Avatar, but I feel like I have to watch to like review it again because I barely remember it. I just remember it being.
I'm excited. We're doing that.
Boring. I'm afraid I'm not gonna hate it as much. That's why I don't want to watch it.
All right, we're not gonna talk about that. Okay. So
closing thoughts.
Okay, well, not like I said, I'm not. This is not my my niche,
Yeah.
But I was impressed.
Okay.
But I can't. I was like, I'm impressed by mostly by the scenery, the art design, costumes. That's the most impressive, and also the battles. Like that just puts it over the top for me. But the characters, they falter for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not what they're going for.
Probably.
But I feel like Sam and Gandalf, they're strong characters. I feel like they could have made the characters a little bit stronger and shortened it just a little bit more. A little bit more. And
do you think with a little less events and a little more character moments that could have shifted your opinion a little bit?
Oh yeah, like cut out the romance. I don't care about that.
Romance was pretty weak watching it again, yeah.
I don't know. They just make it like the one king's son's dying. Like I didn't care.
Faramir?
Yeah.
No, you mean the Rohan king's son. Yeah. Oh, you didn't even know him, so.
Yeah, and like they introduce all these characters, but I mean, do you care about those characters?
I admit, watching it again, they're not really fleshed out. Character is something I didn't used to really care about much. I used to care more about plot and spectacle or whatever. I think a lot.
See, I don't care about plot.
Yeah, I know you don't. So I mean, this one is pretty plot heavy.
Oh yeah.
In terms of like introducing events that happen, it's mostly it's like the hero's journey. It's just a bunch of trials. It kind of mimics.
I do like the trials.
Greek mythology,
Like I said, this I'm sorry. The second half of the movie is great though. The first half is like whatever. Yeah. The second half is great all the way to that.
Yeah, I really think because that's when everything picks up. Like the build of Gollum's indecision in the Two Towers and like is he good, is he evil, and then deciding he's evil and the manipulation between him and Sam. I thought that arc is just awesome. Like watching it again, like I feel like that was so good.
It was good. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, and you know what? My last impression is I feel like I do love the series still in terms of production and everything, and I wish that it had been done as like a mini series, just stretched out a little bit with a little more, add some more events, or maybe if you're gonna include this romance, flesh it out, make it make sense. I feel like that's an interesting plot idea for like a person who's like a man to be involved with an elf. I feel like there's so much like unexplored territory. They're cross species.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Shouldn't that be like a big deal?
That's why stuff like this needs to be, like you said, a miniseries. It needs to be expanded on.
Yeah.
But the time period.
The time you could think of early 2000s. The Sopranos would just come out. Like it wasn't like
TV wasn't as big as deal as it is.
No. Yeah. There's no Netflix. You know, like nothing like what they would do with like the Queen's Gambit, where it's like 7 episodes. Like they would never put this much money into something like that ever.
That's why we need another one. A remake.
Or just another story. I think they should wait. Another maybe 20 years. Give us some time. No, give us seriously. Like
20 years? Wow.
Yeah, see the scope of because I want to see what could change with effects. You know,
okay.
Visual effects, and because I know they're gonna lean towards CGI, so they're just gonna do what they did with The Hobbit. I don't want to see it.
Okay. Oh yeah. See, I haven't seen The Hobbit. You said it's not worth watching.
I feel like The Hobbit, if they would have just made one movie, a lot of people say this. If they would have made 1 or even 2 movies, would have been a lot better. To cut down that, runtime significantly. They added plots to stretch it out into 3 movies that don't make sense. There's an added romance. If you think you hate this romance, you should see the one in The Hobbit. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's the worst in movies. Just unneeded romance and bad romance. Because good romance is very hard to do. So that's why I feel like people should just not even write it. It's so bad.
It just made me think of Star Wars.
Oh man,
because you said bad romance.
Oh,
we just watched. I just watched the prequels again.
Rolling in the grass.
Oh my god, the romance in Attack of the Clones is so bad. We should probably watch it again just to review it.
I heard it's the worst one, right? I haven't seen it since I was a little kid.
I think Rise of Skywalker might be the worst one.
Oh, we got all right. So, all right, let's talk about Return of the King. Okay, so the Return of the King is a great movie. I think it deserves the best of that year.
Yeah.
But I don't love the series like others. I'm sorry. And I will rewatch it maybe some other time. I might have to skip a little because I already seen it. I feel like this was like one of the movies. Don't get mad, man. Don't get mad.
I'm not mad.
This is one of the film series I had to watch before I died.
You definitely had to.
Yeah.
Like no matter
like
what, even if you don't love it, like look, there's a lot of movies like I don't love The Godfather.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, I love The Godfather.
Don't say that. I understand why you don't love The Godfather.
I don't love it. Everybody freaks out.
I love the mafia stuff. So.
See, that's the thing. People love mafia stuff. I don't really. I could take it or leave it. I think Goodfellas is really good.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best.
I think The Sopranos is overrated.
Oh, I love it.
I like Sopranos a lot. I like Sopranos a lot, but I think it's often regarded as like the best show ever.
It's not.
No.
Okay, all right. That's not. But I understand.
But I'm just saying. Your opinion is valid, and you don't have to be in love with everything. But you're right. It is something that it's a rite of passage. You have to see this movie.
Yeah, like
you
Star
have to see
Wars.
this series. Yeah. And you maybe you don't like it. I think, or maybe you don't love it. Right? Like maybe you're not in love with it like some people are. But like I think that's fine. But you're right. It is it's like a cornerstone movie. It's a landmark in cinematic history.
It is.
You have to watch it.
I would say it's a classic just because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I respect it more than I like it.
Like The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It's like it's a landmark moment,
Citizen Kane, all that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, does it hold up? That's the last question. That's the question I want. Does it hold up?
I think it definitely holds up.
Yeah, of course.
100%. Like we keep saying, the way that it changed cinema, I think a lot of it still looks better than most movies today. 100%. Yeah.
So, watch it, all of it, especially like fantasy,
or skip it like he said he's going to do.
Skip to the scene
where he's parts of it.
where that guy over here is sliding on a shield.
Oh, Legolas is his name. Frodo didn't even remember his name. How can I expect this guy to remember Legolas's name when Frodo doesn't?
Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about. He's so forgettable. He's someone in the movie is feeling what I'm feeling. Okay, he's feeling how I'm feeling. He doesn't even know who he is. He saved his life. Well, I guess he didn't save his life. It was all Sam. Sam is the hero. Gandalf is a beast.
That is the one takeaway. If you don't take away anything from this shit video, you gotta take away that Sam is the hero. Yes.
So, watch it. It stands the test of time, and it's great still, after 20 years.
20 years.
Yes. And next time, we'll probably do Star Wars, some other bullshit.
For a comedy
film
review.
franchise.
Yeah, look.
Yes, the prequels.
Prequels of Star Wars are just fun.
Or should we start from the beginning?
What do you mean? Like start from the old movies and then
1977.
I think we're gonna like the old ones. Like I think the old ones hold up pretty well. Last time I was gonna rewatch those again because I think they hold up pretty well.
No, I feel like shitting on something. Let's watch the prequels.
Yeah, the prequels.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah.
It's not boring though, right? Is it boring?
The first one was pretty long.
Okay, all right, man. It's not 3 hours, right?
They're long.
Oh, God.
They're like 2.5. They're like two.
Might have to do a one-off. Anyways, all right, man. We're done here. I gotta go to sleep.
Thank you for watching.
Excuse me?
Now go watch Return of the King.
I'll see you next dimension.
He had to do the catchphrase.
Perhaps I'll see you someday in the next dimension.